What is up, everyone? I want to keep this deck guide short. I'm going to keep it under 10 minutes, but this is a deck that nobody is playing, and it is surprisingly good. Big Spell Mage. I made this list yesterday, and I went 17-4 in that time. I made a couple small changes after the run, and I'll talk to you about it a little bit, but we're going to run through the list. The game plan is simple here. Against aggressive decks, you want to survive till your late game. Against slower decks, you want to scam and beat them with 9 or 10 mana spells early in the game so that you can ride that tempo to victory. You'll notice the only spells we run cost 6 or more, and there's 6 of them. 2 Under the Sea, 2 Sunset Volleys, 2 Tsunamis. So those are the cards that you want to pull off of things like Surfalapod, Watercolor Artist, King Tide, or Calicos, all right? That is your end game. Those are your end game cards, but you don't want to play them on turn 8 or 9 or 10. You want to play them on turn 5 or 6, all right? In order to do that and survive versus the aggressive decks, you play this early game package of anti-aggro cards. Babbling Book, not core, you could change it. I just feel that 3/1 drops are an important minimum quota you should have in any deck. So I played Miracle Salesman as the other two. Babbling Book, it has the opportunity to give you a big spell. And remember, Mage, their creatures are not as good as their spells. So, getting another Mage spell is good, all right? Doomsayer, this is the most aggressive anti-aggro card in the game. What I mean by that, obviously it has 0 attack, so it doesn't mean aggressive in attacking the opponent, but aggressive in forcing the opponent to deal with it immediately. If you imagine a Demon Hunter, it plays Sigil of Skydiving on turn 2. You respond with Doomsayer. So that means on turn 3, it needs to find another way to cheat out more mana to deal with the Doomsayer. So most of the time, you're going to prevent your opponent from playing Hose and Roughhouser on that turn because 6 damage won't be enough to kill the Doomsayer, forcing your opponent to pass his turn or maybe attack you for just 3 damage. Then you clear the board, and this allows you to play one of your many 3-drops. At the 2-drop spot, we also have Flint Firearm. It's clear. You play this on Temple 1-2 if you have no other options, but it's great as a top deck in the end of the game when you need answers, right? Wand Maker, there are a bunch of other 2-drop options. You can use the drink guide, the drink server. That neutral is fine. I was using that originally, but I do think Wand Maker might be better. Or you can use Dry Scale Deputy, which will make copies of your bigger spells later in the game. And that might actually be an interesting choice that I actually might try out just to see which one works better. Bumbling Bellhop, this is a card that's no one is playing, but I think is very good. 3 mana for 6/6 stats, assuming that you have a big spell in hand. And I think that is great. This card is super underrated. I like it. I wouldn't cut it. Gorgonzormu, just the best 3-drop in the game. What is there to say that hasn't been said about this card already? It is very good. Play it. Mixologist, very good for a number of reasons. It's good, number 1, because you can play it on 3, and on turn 4, you can play another 3-drop plus your spell, your potion. And the potion is good, very versatile. Can clear boards, can go face, can kill specific minions, can return specific minions. Maybe you return a Doomsayer or a Water Elemental. It's just very versatile, very good card. Tide Pools, I'm still on the fence about this card, but I'll be honest, every time I play this card, I loved it, okay? It's just like card generation to the max, and you're getting more mage spells, and that feels good. ETC Band Manager is there for one reason. Galactic Projection Orb, we want to play this card, but we have to keep it in the band, okay? The reason being, we don't want to draw it with Under the Sea. Now, you'll find out that Star Power, I played a few times in some games, but if you have to play Star Power in a game, you're probably losing the game. Galactic Projection Orb, pretty good. Mind Control Tech has been the ETC card that has done the most work for me, and it has been incredible every time I have played it, stealing cards like Ziliax or a Titan or whatnot. So I do love it. King Tide, another reason to even play the deck. This is core. It's good on turn 4 or in the early game because you can stalwart your opponents from playing bigger spells on their turns, forcing them to play only creatures on that subsequent turn. So what I mean is if you play this on 4 versus the Death Knight, their turn 4 or their turn 5 can't be like a combination of Frost Strike and Horn of Winter or whatever. It just has to be the creatures, okay? And very good against Rogue. This is also good in the late game because you can do something like turn 9 King Tide plus a big spell. Then on your following turn 10, you can play 2 big spells, right? Very good card, very strong. Watercolor Artist, underrated card. It is getting buffed tomorrow. We don't know what the buff is, but I'm telling you, even if it isn't buffed, this card is super good. First of all, it draws a spell. It only draws frost spells, and guess what? Your only frost spell is Tsunami. So if you play this on 4, you're going to get a Tsunami, and you're going to discount it so that you can play it on turn 7. All right? Pretty cool. Now, the better synergy is something like Surfilopod on turn 5, followed by Watercolor Artist on turn 6. Okay? Because then you play Surfilopod, you play the Watercolor Artist, you draw the Tsunami, and you cast the Tsunami. It's a great combination of turns, very powerful. Love this card, very good. Interested to see how it is when it's buffed. Surfilopod, this is an engine and the reason why you play this deck. First of all, strong for the stats. 5 mana, 5/6, that's above the stat optimization, and it gives you a Battlecry ability, and we have hedged our bets so that the Battlecry ability is very, very valuable, right? Like if we played low-cost spells, you wouldn't feel that the Battlecry is that strong, even though it would be extra value. But we only are playing bonds. We're only playing 6, 9, or 10 mana spells, so we're getting great, great value. Super strong card, very good. Puzzle Master Khadgar, not essential for the deck. It's actually like, I play it, but in the games where I've played it, it's just helped me slightly keep my advantage. But when games where I'm behind, it very rarely has saved me. So I don't think it's necessary. I'm probably going to change it with DJ Manastorm, depending on what the Manastorm buff is. But we'll see. One thing like Khadgar, the reason why I really don't like Khadgar is, hey, if it doesn't save me by casting Blizzard on a big board, okay, that's fine. But one thing I cannot understand is how, if my opponent is at 5 health, it doesn't find 6 damage for Fireball. Like, that's ridiculous. Or if my opponent is at 3 health or 2 health, it doesn't find Frostbolt. I don't understand how this card doesn't consistently find lethal lines. So that's the reason why I would say this is not necessary. Under the Sea, I don't think this card is very good, but it's got good synergy with like Surfilopod, so I do like it. You're playing this big spell mage. You need more spells, and this is just, it's a decent spell. Marin the Manager, what to say about this card? It's good. Try it out. Kalecgos, underrated card. First of all, you're going to find a big spell. Second of all, you can play this on 8 and play a Tsunami or Sunset Volley that was sitting in your hand. That's chef's kiss goodness, man. Very, very good. Very big, strong tempo turn. Love the card. And at the top end, of course, we're just running these cards. Sunset Volley, Tsunami. Big endgame spells to win the game. That is the deck in a nutshell. Try it out. I'll have a updated version tomorrow or sometime in the coming days after testing to see what the meta shapes up like with the deck, with the changes and buffs. But trust me, man, this deck is very, very fun. Give it a try. I'm having an enormous amount of fun playing this. I've had such a good time. Win or lose, deck's won 17-4, not bad. It's something, right? So give it a try. Let me know what you think. Let me know what 1-drops I could probably change instead of Babbling Book. Maybe it needs one more pair of 2-drops. Maybe we drop out Tidepool or something. I don't know. But let me know what you think. And I'm excited to see how you do. Good luck.